Hi everyone, welcome to the 8th annual edition of the Who's Who in Black St. Louis. I'm Ivy Hartman.
And I'm Don Johnson.
It is going to be a fabulous night as we introduce you to and get to know some of the people who are behind this year's edition.
St. Louis is second to no place in the United States. These people have worked hard all of their lives, and they make us all proud to be from St. Louis. So take a seat where you are and get ready for an outstanding show.
That is right, and we're going to take you out to meet and greet some of the Who's Who in St. Louis. Joining me is Richard Mark, the honorary chair of this committee of Who's Who in Black St. Louis. Mr. Mark, with Ameren St. Louis, tell us about how important this event is in St. Louis and Ameren's role in this.
Well, I think it's a great event. You know, Hartman is proud to be a sponsor of this event this evening, where we're going to unveil the publication for next year. And, you know, it really is amazing the amount of African-American talent and leadership in St. Louis that often goes unrealized, you know. And I think this publication is a way for the whole community to see that there's just a wealth of talent in St. Louis, and to really help recognize some of our leaders now and for in the future.
Absolutely. What do you feel is different about this 8th edition than in previous years?
Well, I think all of them were great, you know. I wrote the foreword to this event, to this year's event, edition. And so, you know, one of the things that I is a pet peeve of mine is just part of your responsibility of your success is giving back to the community. And so this year we tried to take a little focus about how African American leadership in the role of charitable giving and giving back to the community, and how it's important that as you celebrate your success, we share it with the community that we live in. And that sharing that success for each of us will help make our community just a better place to live.
And have a broader impact.
And have a much, much broader impact. And so I think that's the little bit different twist this year, and that I'm proud of, and something that's important to me. So.
Listen, this is a face that I'm sure you all recognize, Miss Denise Times. Ms. Times, this is the 8th time that we've done this in St. Louis. How do you see this affects the community?
I think this is a very positive effect on the community. You know, I'm the kind of person that feels that everybody is a who's who, but you know, when we could point out specific ones who have worked so hard to make St. Louis a better place to live in, to make our communities a better place to live in. So this is a great time and place, and especially in the time that we're in now, to acknowledge those who have done that.
And joining me now is Vanessa Hughes. You know, Vanessa, how would St. Louis know you?
St. Louis would know me by my 2 sons, Larry Hughes, who is currently a Orlando Magic, Go Magic, and Justin Hughes, my youngest son, who was a heart transplant recipient, who passed in May of 2006.
And talk about how your life has changed since that, and what you're doing now.
My life has changed tremendously in losing my child, and we've always been a voice piece for the organ donation drive and the need for organ donors, and we will continue that. That is the legacy that Justin left us with, and our mission is to find more organ donors so that people can live longer, just like we had Justin an additional 9 years before he passed at the age of 20.
And is that the mission of the foundation?
That is our mission, that is our goal. We've just recently started Hughes Charities, which we go out into the community. We buy gasoline, we buy school books, we buy toys, we buy bikes, just in the community where we grew up and came from. So just making a difference.
I know that this is the first year you've been able to attend this event, and I just from being here, I can tell that is the event to be at. What are your thoughts?
Extremely exciting. Everybody who's who, I guess, in Black St. Louis is here tonight. So hey, you're among the best. So enjoy.
Good evening. I'm here with the owner of the St. Louis Surge, the women's basketball team, Miss Kalia Collier. Miss Collier, tell us a little bit about your undertaking of women's basketball here in St. Louis.
All right, we are a new women's franchise here in St. Louis. We'll be kicking off our preseason in March of this year, to where you stay tuned for our celebrity basketball game, and also with a high school all-star weekend in April. And our season kicks off in May, June, July. All of our games will be played at UMSL University this year, so please come out and support. And if you want to know more about the St. Louis Surge, please go up to stlsurgebasketball.com.
Now, the thing about a basketball team, a lot of people want to concentrate on what happens on the court, but there's a lot that a basketball team can do in the community with young and old alike. Tell us a little bit about that.
Exactly. Basketball right now, this is so much bigger than basketball. It's secondary to us. What we're doing in the community nonstop, we've always had men's programs here in St. Louis, but now we're doing something for young women and ladies that's never quite been done the way the St. Louis Surge is going to do it this year. We're so excited because basketball is secondary, that when you come to our games, it's going to be about the atmosphere. You're going to want to bring your family. You're going to want to bring out your kids to have a great time.
Deborah, you are a St. Louis native and now working for Monsanto, but talk about being in St. Louis and growing up and the education and the experiences you received in St. Louis, how it led you to some of your great successes here in St. Louis.
Well, I would just like to say that I'm a product of St. Louis Public Schools, and I got a tremendous education in the public school system. I went on to the University of Missouri St. Louis for both undergraduate and graduate degrees, and it was phenomenal in terms of a place that someone could go that didn't have very much money but could get a really good education. And I made the contacts at the University of Missouri St. Louis that opened the doors for me to join city government. And then it's all history.
I think a lot of our viewers will know your name and face around St. Louis, and you're an honoree in this 8th edition of Who's Who in St. Louis. Talk about what that means to you.
So I am so honored to have been asked to pen the foreword of this wonderful publication that really puts a spotlight on African American leadership in our community. Many times we forget all the people that came before us and all the people whose shoulders that we've stood on to be able to stand here today and talk to you about leading the Monsanto Fund and propelling us, the people that are propelling us forward. So it takes a village.
We could talk about all of our contributions to society, but I think nature has a way of doing things, bringing people together in the same room because we all serve a common purpose, and that is giving back to our community. We're here doing what we do because we enjoy being public servants, whether it's in media or in your individual neighborhoods or corporations. There's something that we share innately. We are givers, and we are givers because we're made to be givers. So I want to applaud you tonight for being here. It's not just about the 8th edition, but it's why there is an 8th edition of Who's Who in Black St. Louis. It's because we're all givers. We're made to be givers. When we die, the graveyard should be empty. We should empty ourselves out and continue to give all that we've got. Everything that's been deposited in each and every one of you. So that's the culmination of what this 8th edition is all about. Who's who? Who's done something? Who's given of themselves 100%? That's what it's all about.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rich Gray. I'm the president and CEO of the St. Louis Gateway Classic Sports Foundation. I'm also the president of the St. Louis Police Board as well. And I'm here to bring you remarks because about 2 years ago, we were sitting around the Classic, and this vibrant individual came in and said, we need to partner. We got to figure out a way how we can partner and take Who's Who to the next level. You'll hear from him a little bit later, and for those that don't know who I'm speaking about, I'm talking about Keith. And he wouldn't take no for an answer, but we were blessed to have a relationship with the Millennium Hotel and Dominic Smart. And because of that relationship, this room is the way it is tonight. And I want to thank the Millennium Hotel. Dominic cannot make it tonight, but the food that they put on tonight, the free drinks tonight, was all a part of their contribution to making sure that we could take this event to the level that it belongs. So we're really excited about that. And we're excited about what the Classic has been able to do in the past. This event, last year, we had a special person on the cover, and that was Mr. Earl Wilson Jr., who happened to be my father. And so that's why we got involved. We're involved with this organization because the St. Louis Gateway Classic is about giving back to the community. And it's done in so many different ways, from the incredible support of so many individuals. Ameren, Missouri, Richard Marks, and the way they've been able to step up and continue to support us. Denise Times, who said this year, I want to take over your Lifetime Achievement Dinner and take it to the next level. We have done so many things when we reach out to the community. And if there's anything I would like to leave you with about the Classic is that it's a community-based organization. We need your help, your support to make sure we continue to grow and reach out and do the things that it needs to do in the community. Thank you very much.
Good evening. How are we doing tonight? Good. I tell you, I am so honored and pleased and enthused and everything else, whatever else you want to attach to it, for being here tonight, especially coming into the room earlier and seeing everybody networking, because this is what it's all about. It's about lifting each other up. It's about working together to achieve a common goal. The Emancipation Proclamation was just a piece of paper without a movement of people behind it. And this is what Keith is doing in terms of working each year to put together a quality publication highlighting leaders throughout our community. So let's give Keith a round of applause for what he's doing. Keith gave me a limited amount of time, so I'm also going to thank and congratulate all of our awardees and honorees tonight for a job well done. I'm going to also ask you, as when you go out of this place tonight and you get an opportunity to talk to young people throughout our community, talk to them and tell them to keep the faith. Give them some inspirational words that maybe was given to you that allowed you to achieve beyond what you thought you ever would achieve. Because those same words may touch one of them the way those words touched you and led you to this place here tonight, being honored for a job well done. Thanks again for your time.
You heard the story about Who's Who, the 21-year-old, 100% African-American owned publishing company in the world that publishes the only directories that celebrate African-American achievement, now Latino achievement, and now GLBT achievement, as you recognize diversity and inclusion and the colors of the rainbow that make America and our nation strong. We are proud to be in St. Louis, Missouri for the 8th edition and the unveiling of Who's Who in St. Louis. The publication would not be made possible without the financial support of the sponsors and advertisers. But more importantly, it would not be made possible without the love and support of this community who come out every year. Last year we were in this year we were in January. Ice, snow, where's the Edward Jones people? The Edward Jones people were with us last year. They slid and slide. Who came last year in the snow? If you were last year in the snow, raise your hand. All y'all that stayed home, y'all missed the best reception. We had food left over. We drank until we couldn't drink no more. And the hotel said, y'all don't have to go home, but y'all got to get up out of here. So we really want to take an opportunity on behalf of the company to say thank y'all so very much for your support. We have a program that you're going to hear more about called 1,000 Books for 1,000 Kids. We need you to buy a book or two, or Save a Lot, Edward Jones, Anheuser-Busch, by 100. We need to put these books in the hands of our boys and girls. As the 100 Black Men theme goes, they will be what they can see. It is our job, it is our accountability to make sure that our boys and girls get their own book, not one in the library, but one in their own homes, so they can sit down, read about, look up to you and say, I can own my own restaurant and be on the own network. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you, before you leave tonight, buy one book. May God bless each and every one of you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa. Buy a book.
Buy as many books as you like. At this time, we would like to have some more of our corporate sponsors and advertisers just stand one more time. We'd like to thank you for your support. If you could stand in unison. I mean, really, I think sometimes we take for granted the power that we have together, and there's just so much synergy in this room. And I don't know if you feel it, but I feel it, so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for putting your support behind Who's Who in Black St. Louis. It is now my pleasure to introduce the face and the voice of Who's Who in Black St. Louis, the associate publisher for the St. Louis book, and a national sales lead for Who's Who. He's our very own Keith Antone Willis, as he just exited. I saw that. I did.
No, I think I got caught up in a moment. You know, I do that sometimes. That's that Gemini in me. They're twins. So Cartro got excited and Carter forgot his part. I want to introduce our corporate sponsors for sponsor remarks. You know, I do that sometimes. And I know she was sitting there saying, Carter, it's not my time here. We want to introduce our corporate sponsors for corporate remarks, and those sponsors are Vanessa Foster from Anheuser-Busch, and Al Mitchell from Monsanto.
Good evening, how are you? First, I would like to acknowledge my colleagues that are here from Anheuser-Busch. We've got Rolanda Robinson, Don Calloway, David Henson, Nikki Taylor, Christine Eccles, and Pierre Scott. Thank you all for being here. Anheuser-Busch is very proud to support Who's Who in Black St. Louis as the leading publication that documents the significant accomplishments and outstanding achievements of African Americans. AB has been with Who's Who from the beginning. And this is important to us for two reasons. Number one, our involvement allows us to witness the year-over-year growth of the Who's Who publication, which is a tangible demonstration of the growth in leadership and success in our community. Our sponsorship is also an open invitation to other companies that are not yet involved to get involved. Secondly, our sponsorship gives us a consistent platform to connect with the stakeholders who care about our company and celebrate the good news in St. Louis. So, on behalf of Anheuser-Busch, I would like to congratulate all of this year's leaders that are celebrated in the 8th edition of Who's Who in Black St. Louis, and wish you continued success for your business, and we look forward to seeing you again in December of 2012. Thank you.
Good evening. I was one of the fortunate people that did make it here last year, and this room was not as packed, and I didn't get an opportunity to speak to as many people. And then I said, well, maybe the people didn't come because I was speaking. And then when he just cut me out of the program, I really thought, man, they don't want me to speak. But I'm so glad and fortunate I have the opportunity. Along with my colleagues that are in attendance tonight, I am honored to be here to represent Monsanto's over 20,000 employees. Monsanto's vision is about sustainability, helping the farmer feed an ever-growing population with less resources. But we're also about sustainability when it comes to developing future leaders, diversity, and inclusion. That's why for the 4th year, we've been honored to support the efforts of Who's Who in Black St. Louis, because they set a prime example of nurturing and showing our youth what the possibilities are. I'm gonna take that cue that they want me to be brief, so I'm gonna end with a thought. A little over 3 years ago, we were fortunate to elect the first African-American president. And amongst other things, the significance of it was it showed to millions of African-Americans, and especially our children, that there is a possibility. There is a possibility. I wanted to mention that to underscore this event, this publication, and all of you sitting out there today, because of your presence here, and I see there's some young folks in the audience, you're showing them that there is a possibility. So on behalf of Monsanto, we want to thank and recognize all the honorees this evening. We want to thank Who's Who in Black St. Louis Publishing. We want to thank Keith Antone for once again allowing us to speak and represent Monsanto. Thank you, and be safe as you leave this evening. Thank you.
At this time, what I'd like to do, there's a lot of people that we want to thank, and I will do that, particularly our sponsors. But there's some very, very special people who allowed us to go into their lives and see, because at Who's Who, we believe success leaves clues. And we have a section in our book called The Interesting Personalities. We will feature over 300 individuals in the region, and we narrowed down the 16 to 20 that will go in the IP section, and then we have one who you will meet in the living legend section. And at this time, I'd like for all of our interesting personalities, and you know who you are, the ones that our reporters called you and your secretaries and ran you down for weeks to get you, and sometime the photographer was there early, sometime you was there late, sometime, you know who you are. Our interesting personalities, at this time, I'd like for you to stand so we can recognize you and thank you publicly for allowing us to tell your stories. Our IPs, Vince Bennett with Christina, you can stand for Vince. Freeman Bosley Jr., Khalil Collier, LaShawn Gibson, Jan Hess, the Johnsons, Kenny and Justin, Carl Jones, Reverend Michael Jones, Albert Mitchell, Mr. David Price. He sent me an email earlier. He's traveling in Chicago on business, and he sends his regards. Sean Tomlin, Rhonda Williams, Stanley Williams Jr., Barbara Wilson, and you'll meet our living legend in just a second. It is my pleasure to introduce to some and present to others our 2011 Living Legend honoree. Some of the past recipients have been Frankie Freeman, Catherine Dunham, Dr. Homer Nash, Earl Wilson Jr., and St. Louis American publisher, Dr. Donald Suggs. Miss Robbie, as she is affectionately known in the St. Louis community, is loved by anyone that meets her. And she will tell you, and I'm going to let you know right now, I am her only dance partner in this world. I'm the only one that got to dance at her birthday party. She's the owner of 2 Sweetie Pies restaurants, and a third one will open soon, and she'll probably tell us a little bit about it a little bit later. At over 70 years young, and I know most women don't like to tell their age, but when you look as good and fine as she does, you can tell it. All right? I told my wife I met you too soon. She's one fine, jazzy, and intelligent woman. She's showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon. As the matriarch of Sweetie Pies, the nationally acclaimed soul food restaurants she founded, she is known for her homemade from-scratch recipes. As a matter of fact, our crew from Columbus came in yesterday. I took my family and our crew from our corporate office over there, and we enjoyed it, and we had it for lunch, and we had it for dinner, and Carter said he was still eating chicken this morning. Miss Robbie's restaurants have attracted a popular following among both St. Louis residents and celebrities alike. Prior to running her own restaurants with her son, Tim Norman, Ms. Robbie toured the U.S. singing backup for Ike and Tina Turner during the 1960s. Her stint as an Ikeette launched a singing career that spanned over 20 years, including work as a background singer. You might have heard of some of these folks, the Supremes, Stevie Wonder, Jane Brown, good God. I'm black and I'm proud. Patti LaBelle, and the Rolling Stones, among others. Miss Robbie often ended up cooking for the group while on the road because at that time African Americans couldn't stay in the hotels that they were performing at. And she honed in on her mother's recipes, and those recipes have paid off. I got to share a personal story. We were honored, my wife and I, to ride on the party bus with Miss Robbie for her birthday this past summer. And we went back to the place where there was, she invited 400, but I think 1.7 million people showed up. Because she's known for that, you know, just invite a few people and then everybody show up. And the line was moving a little too slow for her. So she goes in the back in the kitchen at her own birthday party, start doing food, and my wife went back, Janae went back there, and some other folks was, this is your party. What are you doing back here? I got to get this food out here because people are hungry and people got to eat. Y'all better leave me alone. So, you know, she just, that's her dedication. But you know what really stands out with all her fame and fortune? There's one quality that stands out the most in Miss Robbie, and that is her love of family. She adores and cherishes her family. She's genuine, sincere, and sweet, but she don't take nothing from nobody. If you ever watch her show on the Oprah Winfrey Network every Saturday at 8 o'clock, you'll see she's the boss with the applesauce. Ladies and gentlemen, the who's who in Black St. Louis 2011 Living Legend honoree, Miss Robbie Montgomery.
Hello, everybody. You know what? I am so honored. It's been a long road, and like Keith says, he's my only dance partner. I only got one dance for the evening, and if I give it to him, I can't go nowhere else. Right now, my feet is hurting. And Keith, I know you love me, darling, but I'm 71. So I want all of my age. I deserve it. Thank you, thank you. You know, this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for St. Louis. Like he said, I was a singer for over 50 years. And then I came to a point where I had to give up my singing. I developed a lung problem. So it was hard for me to just give in, throw up the towel, and say, hey, I got to give up all this status. What am I going to do? My mom said to me, you can always go home when you can't go no place else. So I came home. I'm touched by this because because at one time when I moved back here, I didn't know what was going to happen. I had my family. They had their families. They took me in. They tried to give me the strength that I needed to go on. And I decided, well, hey, I can't sing anymore, so what can I do next? I'm the oldest of 9 kids. My mom taught me how to cook. So like he said, when things were segregated, we couldn't eat in the white restaurants, but we could sing. So we would get an electric skillet and cook in our hotel rooms. I knew my mom's recipes, so it was on. It was on. And I wasn't jiving, I was the best. Out of all the girls that were there, my recipes were the best. Thank you, Mom. So I decided, well, what can I do? What can I do? And I decided I would do what I do second best, and that's cook. I opened a restaurant. At first, nobody encouraged me. Everybody had negative things. Don't nobody want no soul food. People trying to lose weight. I mean, you know, I wanted everybody's approval so bad that I would be so overjoyed. And when I found a little place that was a dump. I took my best friend in there. I had my keys. I'm like, I got the keys, I got the keys. She walked in, she like, oh my God, what are you gonna do in here? I mean, that knocked me down. But when I realized that nobody was gonna encourage me, it was my dream, nobody else's dream, and if I wanted to proceed, I had to push forward. And that's what I did. And I wanna thank St. Louis because you embraced me when I came back home. And I've searched the whole wide over, and you're simply the best. You came, you supported me, and I love St. Louis. Everybody say, well, you putting St. Louis on the map. St. Louis put me on the map. And I thank you for it. And may God bless you all. I love my family over here. Miss Marlene Davis, who supported me. I'm opening my new restaurant in her area, and she's doing everything to help me. Thank you so much. Thank you. And St. Louis, I love you. Thank you so much. God bless you all, and happy holidays.
What do you give a lady that has everything? On behalf of Who's Who Publishing Company, we present my oldest son, Keith Jr., with red roses for love and yellow roses for friendship. That's my youngest son, Keon. They all gotta work.
We are truly in the midst of greatness tonight, wouldn't you say? Let's give Keith a big round of applause for all the hard work, and to our living legend, Miss Montgomery. We are so proud of you, and as I stood and watched you, I thought of something, one of my favorite quotes. Do you see a man who excels in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before unknown men. So you are standing before kings because you have excelled, and you have the heart of a servant, so we're proud of you, and we're honored to be in your presence tonight. God bless you. And at this time, I'm honored to introduce the forward writer for the 8th edition of Who's Who in Black St. Louis. I met him years ago on Corporate Square Drive. Wow, what was that all about? Yeah, I was serving in the capacity there, and I remember meeting him, and I was like, wow, he is really sharp. I never forgot that. I was like, you work for Ameren? Really? I was taken by him, and because you don't get a chance to meet everyone behind the scenes, and what I was most impressed about him was his title and the fact that he took the time to come to the radio station. It really wasn't a really big deal, you know, Heat Up St. Louis or something. I was like, wow, the big guy came for this? So I kind of remembered that. I kept your name in my mental catalog. At this time, we want to welcome Mr. Richard Mark. He is the Senior Vice President of Customer Care for Ameren, Missouri.
Thank you. Good evening. Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the honorees tonight. So, you know, all of them are listed in the program, and Robbie Montgomery, just congratulations for all the hard work and dedication you've done for the community. So let's give yourselves a big round of applause. On behalf of Ameren Corporation and Ameren, Missouri, you know, I'm proud to be here tonight to represent our 4,400 employees in Missouri and their commitment to the St. Louis area and to the entire state of Missouri. We have about 1.2 million customers in Missouri, and I know that sometimes it seems like it's awful difficult to serve each and every one of them, but it's really our intention to try to be a part of every community we serve and to try to provide the best involvement in those communities. And being here tonight and being a part of Who's Who in Black St. Louis is a way that we see as being a part of the communities that we serve in. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be the honorary chair of this evening's event and to also write the foreword to the event. And I would just like to also recognize and thank our honorary host reception committee for agreeing to serve with me and helping me tonight. So when I call your name, I'd like you to please stand. Richard Gray with the Gateway Classic Sports Foundation. Richard's been up here. Rita Holmes Bobo, Ameren Corporation. Chief Dan Isom, St. Louis Police Department. Martin Matthews with the Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club. Michael McMillan with City License Collector. Mr. David Stewart, Worldwide Technology. Dr. Donald Suggs, St. Louis American. Ms. Denise Times, the Mildred Times Foundation. Lawrence Thomas, Larry Thomas with Edward Jones. Larry's here, you know. Joe Wiley, CEO of Quest Management. And Keith Williamson, Centene Corporation. All great African-American leaders in the city of St. Louis, so thank you all. I'd also like to thank Keith Willis and his great staff of Who's Who in Black St. Louis. It's been a pleasure working with you this year. Great job, Steve, this evening, and great event. So thank you, Keith. As you'll see in my forward letter that I wrote, I believe this publication is really a keepsake. I know I have several past editions in my office that I keep and refer back to often, because it documents the heroes in our community. It recognizes and celebrates the accomplishments of our leaders. And, you know, as I page through some of the past editions to think about writing the forward this year, you know, I was just amazed by the number and the number of leaders, the accomplishments that each and every one of those leaders have. And we often hear about those leaders that get the public recognition, those names that we all know and look up to, such as Dr. Donald Suggs and David Stewart with Worldwide Technology. But as I look through those former editions, those past editions, you know, I was just amazed by the number of individuals, the leadership, the professionalism, and the number of individuals that work each and every day to make our community better, whether it's through education, through law enforcement, through legal system, lawyers, the judges, just some of the people that we've seen here tonight. But St. Louis, the St. Louis community has a wealth of African-American talent and a wealth of African-American leadership that often goes unrecognized in our community. And I think we should all celebrate that and applaud it. So thank you. So, you know, I kind of believe that it's always great to be recognized, and I know it's great to be recognized as part of being Who's Who in Black St. Louis this evening. But, you know, it's also better to be recognized for who is making a difference in Black St. Louis. And I think each and every one of us have that obligation. So as in closing, I would just say I encourage each and every one of us to use our professional talents and leadership abilities to really work to enhance our community and make it a better place for us all to live, work, and play. Thank you very much.
At this time, as we get ready for the unveiling of the 8th edition of Who's Who in Black St. Louis, would you please welcome to the stage Keith and Erica Willis. Richard Mark is coming back, Carter D. Womack, and Tamara Allen, who is the Director of Operations for Who's Who.
Robbie, come on up here. We didn't want to tell you, that was our little secret. The 2011 Who's Who in Black St. Louis cover.
Now you know this is too much. Don't forget I'm 71. This heart has been beating a long time. Now they're trying to kill me. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I can never thank you enough. Oh, God bless you all. Once again, don't forget to watch Welcome to Sweetie Pies. We need support.
Let me again thank all of our sponsors and advertisers. You can never thank these people who are, let's face it, the check writers. They're the ones that make this happen. And for 8 years, they've made it happen for me. I'd like to recognize some people who are behind the scenes. As Chaz says, I'm the voice and the face, but there's a lot of people that work real hard. And if they're here, I'd like to recognize some folks that help make this possible. I'd like for Team St. Louis to stand and be recognized. My writers, Crystal Howard, Bill Bean, Crystal's here, Maurice Meredith, my road dog, my man, like 20 grand. We in there like swimwear. That's my guy. Maurice and I get to talking, and we can talk for, a lot of people don't know Maurice can talk, because he don't usually talk. He just take pictures and keep it moving. But when this brother gets to know you and he trusts you and he loves you, we talk sometime an hour and a half, 2, 3 hours at a time. That's my man. And also, the newest member of our team, my wife, Erica Willis, who came on board this year. Now I'd like to thank some of our folks from the corporate team. You met Carter Womack. Where's Carter? Running around somewhere? Okay, Tamara Allen, another very good friend, a mentor to my daughter. My homegirl, we're from the same city, Columbus, Ohio. Yolanda, maybe they're out there. Okay, the folks, Brian and Chris, they're all out. Just tell them I thank them. And at this time, I'd like to recognize again a man who, when I called and I said, hey, I need your help. I want you to write the forward this year. And actually, it was a young lady who was a very good friend of mine who I follow wherever she goes. Rita Holmes Bobo knows wherever she goes, I just call her. I say, all right, where you at now? I'm over at Ameren, Missouri. Okay, I need Ameren, Missouri money. Where you at? I'm at this. I need that money. I need that money. Wherever she goes, she's my friend. I need that money, girl. I need that money. And I want them to stand again, and I want to recognize Richard J. Mark and my entire host committee, my good friend Larry Thomas, LT, stand up, please. Rita Holmes Bobo, stand up. Michael McMillan, Denise Times, Richard Gray, trying to hide over in the corner. Richard, Donald Suggs, Chief Isom, David Stewart, let Ann Marsh stand up for David. Ann, stand up for David. Joe Wiley and Keith Williamson over on the left-hand side from Centene. Finally, let me say this. It is with a great deal of excitement and joy that I say this is my final edition that I will publish for Who's Who in Black St. Louis. I am honored to be taking on a new role as the national sales and market leader, helping other publishers do what we've been blessed to do in St. Louis, across the country. I want to thank all of the advertisers and sponsors that have supported me over the last 8 years. But I also want to recognize these folks, and some of them are here. That's why I asked them to be here. From the bottom of my heart, the forward and introduction writers. So when you hear your name, please stand. Johnny Fur Jr. with Anheuser-Busch. I don't know if Johnny's here. Anheuser-Busch was my very, very, very first client. And a big one at that. Thank you, Vanessa. They're still with me. Jim Buford. Anyone from, I'm seeing some folks from Jim's staff, from the Urban League, Barbara, Angelia. Thank you. Cheryl Pope from the United Way, the first female in our chain to write the forward out of all 29 cities, the very first. I know David and Thelma Stewart aren't here, but Ann, I'd ask that you would just wave for me. Ann, stand wet. Dr. Henry Givens, I know he has retired, but we have a new president. Dr. Walker, he is here. Would you stand, Dr. Walker, from Harris-Stowe State University? My man. Dr. Zalima Harris, my man, you've heard me call his name earlier. I call him LT, but only in this circle can you call him LT, but it's Larry Thomas. Partner with Edward Jones. Deborah Patterson, is she still here? Is Deborah still here? Deborah Patterson, and of course this year, Richard J. Mark. Richard, would you stand? Your new associate publisher is smart, innovative, and driven. She has a true passion for anything that she's involved in, and I know she will take this publication to the next level. She has a phenomenal work ethic to go along with her dedication and determination. I've watched her in many roles over the past 13 years. The best part about having new leadership in St. Louis is that every morning I get to wake up with her by my side. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your new St. Louis associate publisher, my boo, Erica Willis.
When my husband told me, and I do want to mention the operative word, told me, that he was going to pass the associate publisher gauntlet to me, I was awestruck. It comes at an interesting time. This has been his baby for the last 8 years. And the number 8 is significant in the biblical sense, if you don't know. It is the sign of new beginnings. And I left my last position after 8 years of service, and now I'm continuing on with the Who's Who brand. I feel empowered, not just because my husband has entrusted me with something he put his blood, sweat, and tears into, and not just because we have been life partners for the past 13 years. I feel empowered because I know there are yet many stories to tell and ways to celebrate and recognize the fine people of St. Louis. And I have had and will have the greatest mentor at my side to help me carry on. For those of you who truly know him, you know this move is not unlike him. It is not unlike him to step aside and allow someone else to take the reins and to continue something that he has kept near and dear to his heart. With that being said, I promise the Who's Who family, including my husband, who will now focus on sales in the St. Louis and Kansas City markets, that I will continue to strengthen and grow the Who's Who brand. And I will continue to highlight and honor the African Americans who are making great strides in St. Louis. I also promise to deliver the highest care and value to our partners who have made our past successes possible. So thank you, honey, for this wonderful journey thus far, and I promise to keep the unit looking good. Now, I also want you to know that as associate publisher, my first book out the gate, because of those of you who know me, know that I'm all about the support of women. So next year, I will focus, the book's focus will be on our African American power makers and move shakers, the Black women in St. Louis, Missouri.
So you never know who you're going to run into. You know, you've seen her on television. You may have seen her in person if you've been to Sweetie Pies. We've got Robin Montgomery with us. How's the new TV show going?
The TV show is wonderful. We got picked up for another season, so we're excited.
That is exciting.
Really excited, yes.
And the new this year to you, the big unveiling tonight of the 8th edition of Who's Who in St. Louis is honoring you.
And that's an honor. I mean, I am extremely honored for them to even recognize me, to even think of me. It's a privilege.
Really, really? Yeah. How could they not, though?
Well, it's easy, but they didn't, so I'm grateful.
Okay, I'm here with Who's Who in Black St. Louis, and this man next to me is no stranger. It's Rich Gray. Rich, this is quite an event here in St. Louis. What do you make of it?
You know, I'm excited to be a part of it. We partnered with Who's Who last year, donating this event for them, so we're really excited about being able to help them get to this level.
Where do you see this type of event taking St. Louis, seeing that more and more is happening in the Gateway City?
Well, I think it's one of the important cornerstones as we continue to grow the city, because diversity is going to be what it's going to take for us to go to the next level, and I'm excited about being a part of it.
Hey, it wouldn't be a Who's Who event in St. Louis without the president of the Board of Aldermen, Mr. Louis Reed.
Hey, how you doing? I'm happy to be here tonight.
And so, are you meeting anybody new? I gotta know. I mean, the Who's Who in St. Louis. There's about 300 people here. Have you met anybody new?
Oh yeah, I met Kalia Collier from St. Louis Surge basketball. It's amazing. She's young. She still may play. But she has a lineup about 55 games this season. I'm looking forward to catching some games. That's amazing. I had never had an opportunity to meet her before tonight.
I'm glad you got to meet, and it's all about networking, because to be honest with you, Kalia is one of those people who's a pioneer and somebody who's giving back in the community and trying to blaze a trail, which is what Who's Who's about.
That's exactly right. It's about trailblazing. I cannot thank Keith Antone for doing this every year, and all the St. Louisans for coming out and supporting such a great event also. And STL TV.
That's right. It's about leadership and the community. We're always there. And, you know, what support or challenges you've experienced being a leader in the St. Louis community and politics?
There are a lot of challenges because, you know, unfortunately, we still have a bunch of negative stereotypes that have been propagated through a host of different venues that people have to, overcome each and every day. Some of the things that you don't think about if you're an African American, even if you go to like a job interview, you have to be able to overcome some of those stereotypes and things of that nature. And this is what this is about. It highlights the positive, which is very important to show that people are doing positive, good things each and every day. It's not just what you see at the 10 o'clock news.
Not only has the unveiling of the 8th edition really caused a stir here at the Who's Who in Black St. Louis, the Millennium Hotel, there's a major announcement. Keith stepping down and handing over the reins to a new associate. Talk about that.
Well, I just thought it was time that we did something new, something different. She's been by my side for the last 8 years, and I truly believe that you have to groom folks and get folks ready to take over. And in the transition, I think she'll do not only a fine job, but she'll do a phenomenal job in taking the brand to the next level. And it'll give me an opportunity to help other publishers in the company do what they do.
You know, I don't think anybody's surprised, Erica. Anybody who knows you knows that makes sense for you to be taking over the reins of Who's Who in Black St. Louis and doing a fabulous job. But what struck me as interesting is that he actually told you were going to do it.
Yeah, this was not something that was kind of pre-planned. Matter of fact, it happened in one conversation. We were just kind of going over our life plans, and he said, yeah, honey, I think I'm going to step down and just focus on the sales end of it, and I think I'm just going to let you do it. And I'm like, okay. I was, and you know me, I'm never speechless. I was actually speechless, but I'm excited. I look forward to the challenge. He's built the brand, and so he's made it very easy to have fun with it.
Well, Ms. Foster, this has been quite an event, and your company was a big part of it.
Absolutely. Anheuser-Busch has been sponsoring Who's Who in Black St. Louis since the beginning, the very first edition. We are proud to be a part of this event because it really celebrates and highlights the achievements of African Americans in a way that no other publication in St. Louis can.
You know, I think looking at you, a lot of young ladies will be inspired because they look for people to look up to.
Oh, it's very important. I'm glad to be in St. Louis. While I'm new in my position, I follow a legacy of great leaders at Anheuser-Busch, including Johnny Furr, and am just proud to be a role model for both young people in elementary school, high school, college, to let them know that whatever they want to do, their dreams are possible, and Who's Who really does highlight all the different possibilities for our young people.
What an evening. I got a humbling experience for me.
Well, St. Louis is a place that really makes me proud because we have so many outstanding people here, and I got to meet some of them.
Yeah, I've got to meet some of them, and I hope that I can call some of them friends by this time next year. We hope that you enjoyed this 8th edition of Who's Who in Black St. Louis, presented to you by STL TV.